Hello, good morning to you. How are you? I've been on a ride, ups and downs. This is life. Everything must pass always, the happiness and the sadness. So let us just embrace whatever this moment is giving us and let it flow through us. And remember to be grateful for all that comes. And I'm so happy that right now I'm feeling energized and happy and good, because yesterday I was like going crazy. So at least right now I'm feeling good. Now, today I want to talk about back pain. Back pain. So the number one thing to start when we talk about back pain is our breath. Now, I want to make this video just as for all, these are things that I found personally have helped me with my own back pain. I've had back pain since I was like 13. I already had lower back pain, chronic, like for years, and it was coming back and forth, until I started working on it like when I was around 18, 19, with physios and self practice, like diving into my own body, seeing what works for me. That's the way for everyone to really do it. And then in the army, in the military, before the military, I cured my own back pain, and everyone else was having, and I didn't have, and I had my whole life except for there, which was amazing. God bless. And then sometimes it comes back, but now I have a toolkit to know what to do to help my own back pain. So I want to share this toolkit with you, and you got to pay me $1 million for it. Just kidding. It's for free. Ha! It's for free. Let's just enjoy life and share. So now, number one is the breath. How do I breathe? I have some videos on that already. Go check them out on my Instagram or YouTube. I haven't posted it yet, honestly. But let's do a short one here right now. Breathing through the nose always. Engaging my diaphragm muscles. We're always breathing with our diaphragm muscles. So when people say diaphragmatic breathing, it doesn't really mean anything, because we're always using those muscles. The question is how we're using it. So one, we're filling up our belly like a balloon, but not only forward, also sideways and backwards. We should feel this intra-abdominal pressure build up everywhere. So I put my hands here in the front and in the back of my thumb, and I breathe through my nose. Look how I'm squeezing, and then I breathe. You see how that fills up? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It should look like that. Damn, I breathe really well. So you breathe through the nose, and this should fill up. You should feel the pressure in your back. And this is what protects the spine when we're doing deadlifts, when we're lifting, when we're moving, but also in the day-to-day life. We're just creating a structure for the spine to be stable, okay? So, but it's not only breathing this way, it's also 360, and this pressure also goes up and down. So because this pressure is also going up and down, we can't just be breathing like this with any posture. We also have to learn how to have good posture. And this is where movement comes in, but also awareness. So let's start with something for awareness, and then we'll go into movement, which also helps with back pain and also helps with posture, which will naturally help everything. So, awareness. When I'm breathing while I'm standing or sitting, but when I'm breathing, I want to make sure that my tailbone is slightly tucked in. I don't want to have this lordosis. Lordosis is when I have this curve of my lower back. And lots of us have this with bad posture. Now, how do I fix this while I'm standing? I want to make sure that I don't have locked knees. If I have locked knees, look, my tailbone is tucked in. If I lock my knees, naturally my lower back will curve into this lordosis. When I slightly bend my knees, I suddenly have room for my tailbone to tuck in. You see? Locked knees, tailbone's like this. I bend my knees, and then it's natural for me to tuck it in and engage my core. And when I engage my core, and have this structure of top of the head right over the base of my spine. My whole spine is in its natural curve with good posture. So we want to make sure that the top of the head is over the base of the spine or the pelvic floor. Top of the head over the pelvic floor. I don't know, maybe there's a little, that's not important. The thing is this comes with awareness and just feeling that, okay, the top of my head is over it and I'm not a little forward or too far back. With this engaging of the core and the tailbone slightly tucked in. So this is good posture with the breath. Now, this is number one, the breath. Now, exercises for the breath, and so that we can learn to use our diaphragm and also strengthen our breathing muscles and our core, our deep core muscles, that with this we can actually keep it, because one thing is awareness of, okay, I'm knowing how to do it, but now I actually have to teach my body how to do it with exercises so that the brain learns, okay, this is how we do it, this is how we do it. I'm not used to it, it feels weird, but I'll do it, I'll eat some protein, I'll sleep all at night, and then in the morning, the next day, tomorrow, my body will know a little bit better how to breathe. And this takes time and consistency, but eventually you will receive the fruit of your work. Just not when you want to, it eventually comes. I can promise you that. Now, how do I work on some exercises for learning to breathe? We'll do an ab exercise where my knees are in 90-degree angle. And here, I'm putting my hand over my stomach and I'm breathing through my nose. You see how it fills up? Fills up. It's filling up also under and also on the top. And I'm breathing in and out, and it stays engaged the whole time. You could do this with your head in the air and on the floor. I'm just doing this so you can hear me. And you want to feel, you don't want your lower back to be in the air. You want to push your lower back to the ground and breathe through your stomach. And if this is too hard, you start with your knees on the floor. And maybe you can breathe in, lift, breathe out, drop. Keeping your core engaged the whole time, feeling how your stomach is filling up. Exhale. You can do these 5-10 times. It's not about the number, it's about your body learning how to do it and listening to your body. Okay, this is enough. These are exercises that my physio Dara taught me, and I learned a lot from her. So if you want, I can tag her in this. If you want Dara, I'll tag you in this. And if you're looking for a good physio, I really recommend her, because she teaches you how to move from number 1, even number 0, all the way to however you want to move. Now, for exercises, okay, now fixing posture through movement. Lots of us have back pain now because we sit for so long. When we're sitting for so long, what happens? Our hip flexors become short. What is a short hip flexor? What does that mean? So imagine that I'm sitting on a chair. Imagine both of my legs are up. I'm just showing you here with my left leg. Right now, my hip flexor is short. This is the hip flexor, the muscle that flexes my hip. It's when it comes up. It's flexing when it comes up. It's short right now. Now it's long when I stretch it back like this. You see? Short, long, the other way. All day it's short. So when it's short, naturally when we're standing, it's gonna be short. And when it's short standing, I'm gonna stand with bad posture because it's short. So I'm gonna tuck my butt back and have this lordosis that I was talking about. Even though my knees are bent, my hip flexors are short. So I don't even know, my body doesn't even know how to be long in my hip flexors and have them long and straight. I think you get the point. So what do? We have to lengthen the hip flexors. Stretching for lengthening the hip flexors. 90-degree angle, 90-degree angle. You can be on your toes or feet here. Now, there's this stretch and lots of people come forward as much as they can. But before that, we have to make sure that our hip flexor is over the knee. I have good posture and I flex my left glute. It's flexed, okay? I flex the glute itself, engaging the glute, and this in itself is already good for back pain, engaging the glute. And then I slightly lean forward. If this hurts on your knee, you could put a pillow under. And I flex the glute, and you'll see once you flex the glute and you slightly lean forward, you'll already feel the stretch, and you don't even have to go that deep. It's all about having your tailbone tucked in. I'm not stretching like this with my tailbone like this. I'm not like this. I'm tucking in my tailbone, engaging my glute, and coming slightly forward. And then with time, even while it's engaged, you can come forward and forward and forward. Okay? That's number one for a hip flexor stretch. Then there's the couch stretch, which is very nice, and it's just like the hip flexor stretch, but first I would recommend starting with this, and this is also enough for good posture. But couch stretch is also very important for mobility. It's when you're against the wall or a couch and you lift this up against something and your foot is against something, or you could also do it with your hand, and then you grab. This takes some balance and shoulder opening, but I'm just showing you, and this is a really good stretch for your hip flexors and quads. And eventually the goal is to get them to touch. And you see I lack mobility here, so I got to do more work. Hip flexor and couch stretch, excellent for hip flexor stretches, okay? And once our hip flexors become more open, while we're standing, they'll be longer, and then naturally we'll have the ability to stand with good posture. Instead of short, it's long. You see, this is short, this is long. So we talked about breath, we talked about hip flexor opening because it's short, so we have to lengthen it. Now, when we're sitting, our glutes are also not engaged. And when we're sitting all day, our glutes are off the whole day, are turned off. And our glutes are a huge muscle that are in charge of so much movement. And if our glutes aren't engaged, our glutes are muscles right next to our lower back. And if they're not working, guess who's gonna take the work instead? It's right there, it's the back. So you gotta strengthen them glutes. Exercises for strengthening the glutes. For someone who is first just learning to engage and move your body, just simple ones like this. You come into all fours and you lift. You just come up and hold. You can hold, breathing into this position, making sure that my lower back isn't falling. My tailbone is tucked in, my core is engaged. I'm breathing like I learned how to breathe. And I'm holding, and I can also do ups and downs, pulses. And then you can come and bring your knees like this, and you can do sideways, fire hydrants, making sure you do both sides in all the exercises always. Now, those are, when you do this, you're working the gluteus, the maximus, and when you do this, I think it's the minimus, it's the side. There's one exercise which really helped me. I remember when I had really bad back pain when I was 18, and this one really helped me, that I found from Athlete X on YouTube, which is an awesome guy. I recommend you watch his videos. He has so much knowledge. So this, I'm pretty sure the muscle is the quadratus laborum. I don't remember. It's not important. It's really not important, the name of the muscle. It doesn't mean anything. It's just a name we gave it. This is for like a deep glute muscle that I'm just figuring out how to do it. A deep glute muscle that is on the side. It's here. It's this muscle over here. It's on the side. And you'll see when the glutes aren't engaged, this muscle also becomes very weak. And sometimes just like bringing fire to that area and making it strength, you'll feel, for me, I felt pretty instant relief when I did it back in the day, and every time I would come back to it. But making sure that you keep it up and keep doing it will help keep you give you a strong glutes. And once you already have a strong glutes, you make sure that you keep doing movement practice, keep engaging your glutes. Like, number one for all this back pain thing is just create a habit of movement. If you don't have a habit of movement, this is like A, B, C. Like, you have to have a habit of movement, and then you do these movement stuff that fix your movement, then everything comes together and you don't have to do these exercises anymore because the body knows how to move and it uses these muscles naturally. People didn't do these weird exercises, but now I'll show you. Wait. People were just active. That's what I want to say. So I lie on my side. And if this doesn't work, then I'm gonna have to film it again. I'm just making sure that you can hear me and see me. Lying on my side. Maybe I make a pillow with my arms like this, or I can come down like this. It's not important. However comfortable on one of my sides. Now I bend the lower leg and my upper leg, which is my right one on this side. I'm gonna bring my arm over here on my side and I lift, okay? Now when I'm lifting, I'm leaning a little bit forward and I'm bringing my toes. You see how my toes are, I'm trying to bring them out, down. I'm trying to bring my big toe down to the ground so that I could also come to the floor, and I could also bring my arm here, my thumb onto my glute, and I feel how it's being engaged, okay? And I bring it down. I could also bend my knee, straighten, keep it in the air, and bring it up. When I bring it up, I feel how the muscle is engaging. And if it's weak, I could also use my thumb to kind of help it engage. You like move it. You see how it's like this? I'm bringing it and I'm moving it right here. It's on the side of the glute right here. I hope you can see. And it's already on fire. So you could do like 8 to 10 of these. And at the end, when you bring it up and down, you do 10, let's say, or however much is comfortable. At the end, you can hold and breathe and keep your thumb there. And it's on fire right now. Wow. I'm gonna have to do the other side after to just balance it. I'll probably be okay also if I don't. It's okay, I just did it 1 second. But make sure you always do both sides, especially when you're working on fixing your body. You always want to do both sides and everything so that you strengthen both sides. You don't create any imbalances. So that exercise in itself teaches your glutes to engage, and it's a really strong exercise which really helped me with back pain, because having weak glutes is a lot of time why we have back pain. And one more hip exercise for the toolkit. It's working on our internal and external rotation of the hip. So this is internal rotation, the hip is turning inward, and this is external rotation where it turns outward. So you can put your feet in a 90-90 degree angle. They call this 90-90. So here there's 90-90. Here there's also 90. And here there's also 90. And I start out facing forward. I bring my left hand, the hand that's the same side as the open legs, I bring it back. And I try to bring my left glute, here on my left side, my right foot is forward, my left glute to the mat. Try to bring it to the mat, and maybe I can spread my foot a little bit back this way, and then I'll feel more of the stretch. And here I'm opening my internal rotation of the hip, and then I can come forward and engage the glute, and I come back, forward, back. I'm just teaching the hip to have mobility here, so it can go internal and it can go normal. Internal, normal. Sometimes when you start with this, you'll just feel it cramping right away. You do the other side, same thing. Forward. Bring the right glute to the ground. 90-90. Now, after this, you can come forward. Hands in front of the front leg, in front of the left leg on this side. My right leg is back. And I keep my right foot on the ground and lift my right knee. Here I'm working on the external rotation of the hip. And then I can do the opposite, lifting my right foot, but making sure that when I'm lifting it, I'm facing forward and I'm not doing any extra, I'm not leaning forward to lift it up. I'm using the muscle itself. And I can hold here, breathe into it, get it burning. Here this is burning. And these are really good hip stabilizer exercises. And then you could also have one where you come forward, 90-90, hands forward. You fall forward, come up, forward, and up, pushing my front knee against the ground. Eventually I do it hands free. And you'll see how much this activates the glutes and the hips. Very good hip exercises for creating stable and mobile hips. And then you could also progress to this variation. It's really good stuff. All free just for you so you can live pain-free. So try that out and I hope it helps. So we talked about breath, we talked about hip flexor length, and we talked about strengthening our hips. Now it's hip flexor length, but also strengthening our hip flexors is also very important. So exercises like this where you're lying on your back and you lift, these are very good hip flexors. Or like this, or while you're standing you can do stuff like this with weights on your legs also. But you could also do everything body weight and just do enough reps, especially in the beginning when you're teaching the body to become stronger and to move when it's all in pain. I recommend without weight and just working more and more reps, so you first build the muscle stamina, and then with time eventually you could start adding weight. But first everything do body weight and just do lots of reps, and then you'll tire out the muscle like crazy, but you won't put it under too much stress, so you'll teach it how to work well. And that's how I recommend always. So you see, it's about like learning to have good posture, breathe well, and then balance out the hips, because lots of times the hips aren't working well, and when the hips aren't working well and aren't balanced, the whole structure is going to be wrong. Because if the hips are wrong, if the glutes aren't activated, if these are short, things are going to be off, and then the back is going to be off, you see, because it's like one side is stronger, one side is weaker, so my back is trying to like compensate with a weird posture. You get what I'm saying? So you got to stabilize the hips. Now it's also feet, and then we also go into the spine itself. It's really about fixing the whole body, because one thing causes the other. So for feet, one, I recommend getting barefoot shoes and being barefoot a lot more, and also grounding on earth, having your skin itself touch grass and dirt. This is very healthy and helps with lots of mental things and also physical things, because mental and physical are all connected. It's all part of the same system. So grounding barefoot on earth, 5 minutes, if you can do that at 5 minutes a day, wow, that's amazing. Not all of us have that time, but you got to get that in, like on your day of rest, on Shabbat, on Saturday or Sunday, whatever you are, whatever religion you live by. On your day of rest, go out and ground on the earth, go barefoot and touch the ground. But now we're also talking about the structure of the feet. Shoes have become, look, these are barefoot shoes. You see how the toe box is big? It means that it's not limiting on my toes. Most shoes are closed here, so they limit our toes and push them together. And then our feet together walking messes up with the whole structure from the ground all the way up. And then we ask why everyone is sick and unhealthy when it starts from our shoes, making all of society's shoes with lack of awareness. And so we have to fix our feet. Throw away your shoes and get barefoot shoes and barefoot sandals, or just walk barefoot. But there's cool look, these are freaking cool, and they're also like nice. They're black, you know, they're not too like weird, and they're super comfortable. Vivo barefoot shoes. Free advertisement, please pay me some money. I'd love that, Vivo. Now, the feet. So you have to learn to open the toes again. How hope you can see this. So muscles like, exercises like this, where you're opening the toes. Opening the toes. You do it on the floor also, opening the toes. There's so many different exercises. You open as much as you can, you hold, open. You can also thumb down, fingers up, fingers down, thumb up. It's just about playing with your toes and bringing them awareness again, because they're what grip the ground when we're walking. And especially after having them closed for so many years, they don't know how to work again. One exercise, so bringing life to your toes, okay? Just playing with them. There's lots of exercises, I gave a bunch. There's more, but it's enough. Just so you understand. If you have any questions, please ask. I can give you more exercises on everything. Now, training the arch of our feet, because the arch of our feet are what stabilize. When it's flat foot, when we have flat feet, our ankle and our knee will collapse because it's flat and this is weak, so it'll collapse. But when it's strong, when this is gripped, I hope you can see, when it's gripped, then my knee is over my ankle and my hips are under my knees and everything is in a straight posture. So how do we strengthen the arch? The arch is also a muscle. It's like people don't talk about training your feet. They just talk about lifting in the biceps. Bro, have you even trained your toes today? Like, dude, never skip toe day. Now, how do I strengthen my arch? I push my big toe into the ground. I make sure that my feet, let's do it. We're doing it, we're breaking the rules. I make sure that my feet are maybe slightly opened on the ground, and I push my big toe into the ground. And when I'm pushing it into the ground, look, shit. I push and it engages. See? It's a very small engagement, but it's really engaging. You see how now it's strong and then it's weak, strong, weak, strong, weak. So you push it into the ground and you're training it. And I remember when I first started a long time ago. Hope you can still see me. Yeah, it should be good. I remember when I first did this a long time ago, I didn't have this awareness. My physio taught me these exercises, also YouTube, but she really helped me so much. So thank you, Dara. With awareness of the body and all these stuff. So, perfecto. Training the arch of our feet, training our toes, strengthening our ankles. How do I strengthen my ankles? I do calf raises. I do tibialis raises where I'm leaning against the wall and I strengthen this muscle in the front, which is in charge of this walking. I do ankle rolls. So I'm strengthening my ankles so that they're stable, so that my knees are over something that's stable, so they don't have to take too much pressure. Because if my ankles aren't stable, my knees are gonna have to take more pressure. I strengthen my knees by working my quads and my hamstrings, hamstring length, quad length. Calf stretch is great for quad length. Fixing the body from the ground up. But first the breath actually. The hip exercises are as important as strengthening the feet and everything coming up. So we talked about breath, hips, feet, coming up from the feet all the way up to the hips also. And then the back itself. Now, the back itself, the thing is when we sit so much, you see? My head is down, my shoulders are forward. Forward bends are what activate the parasympathetic system and teach us to surrender. They're very important. But when we're forward bending all day, we're surrendered all day. We have no more life in us to open up our chest and our back to the world, which is what gives us charisma and power to express ourselves. This is the feminine energy of receiving and surrendering. I'm not saying women, I'm saying the feminine energy. And this is the masculine energy of giving. Well, I'm not sure, but yeah, giving, but it's also like receiving, right? It's like giving yourself to the world, you know, like, here I am, the masculine. I can do anything I want and I will do it. I am on a mission and I will do it. You see? And this is the thing, open body open mind, but also the way my body works. If my shoulders are forward and my upper back is forward and my neck is forward, I'm already gonna have bad posture. I'm also not gonna have confidence. So it goes together, the mind and the body. That's all I was saying with that before. So we have to learn to open it. We do chest opening, shoulder opening, and upper back opening and lower back opening. So for chest openers, you can go against the wall, put your hand against the wall and lean against it. You see, like, you know, like imagine my hand is against the wall and I lean against it and I'm opening my shoulder. You could also do it on the ground, where you come on the ground, and I didn't mean, pause. You put your arm on the ground, your, let's say, right arm 90 degrees. I look to my left arm here. I lift my left leg to the air and I bring it over. And then with the help of this arm, I push a little so that my right chest and shoulder is opening. And I could also have it straight, whatever's comfortable for me. This is a very good chest opener and shoulder opener, and it's also teaching my body to be backwards like this. So chest opening, stretching, and then also upper back strengthening. So we have to teach the upper back to strengthen against gravity, because it's always forward against gravity. So we have to teach it to open. So good thing I'm already on my stomach for these exercises, for posture and strengthening of the upper back and upper neck. So we bring our neck up and we do the opposite of what we're doing all the time when we're sitting. See, my chin is tucked in. I'm pushing against gravity. See how freaking strong my upper back and lower back and neck is. You want to be able to come up here against gravity. And then you also have these, bring your shoulders above, you go down, you could go like this. You can do one leg, one arm. This is also, you're also engaging your glutes here. You're also lifting your shoulders. These are so many good exercises that'll strengthen your posture. You could come into 90 degrees and just feel this, how this is working on your posture and all the muscles you never work. And these exercises also really help me with back pain, because here you're strengthening your back muscles, but in a very natural way. It's not just deadlifting. Deadlifting is important. We'll get into that soon. I have so many exercises. I don't know if I should put them all in this one video. Like, I just want to talk about the important stuff. So this is very important for back pain. Also these, you play with them. And then you also have stretches itself that'll open more space. So like the shoulder one and the chest one against the wall. And then you also have cobra, which you put your arms under your shoulders and you come up, and it's an active and passive stretch, because we're kind of passive but kind of active also. And we're looking forward or up, and our stomach is on the ground. You see it? And this is very good because we're strengthening our lower back. We're stretching our lower back and strengthening our upper back, and stretching and strengthening all of them at the same time. So that's a very good one for upper body posture fixes, those exercises on the ground. And then comes teaching the body to bend forward and bend backwards, and side bends, holding in these poses, breathing. You can do them standing also. I'll stand soon. In a second, I'm gonna go stand and just show a bunch of exercises so you can see and kind of like copy them. But always, whenever you see exercises on the internet, especially with people who have already done lots of body work, these things take lots of time. So it's not about doing the exercise today, the one that you see online. It's about doing the smallest variation and the least amount, like the smallest variation that causes no pain, so that you can progress, and slowly, day by day, every other day, with years, you can eventually reach cool things like this one. I can't even do it that well. I really can't do it that well. But I'm like so much better than I used to be, and I used to have horrible knee pain, and now I can do that. So it's about building things slowly and day by day. Now, let's show a few exercises for spinal health itself and spinal strengthening that isn't just deadlifting, because in deadlifting we're teaching the spine stabilizers to come down and come up with a straight back, so they become very strong. But you were not teaching our spine to move in all of its angles and lift naturally, because lifting naturally isn't just straight like this. Lifting naturally is like whoop. We're using our rotational muscles, we're using everything. So let's do a few exercises that you can see where I call this live lift, okay? We're lifting and using our spine in all of its angles. Can you hear me? I hope you can hear me. This is crazy. I'm yelling in the park like a freaking crazy person. Now, I lift up, I drop down. When I come from one side, I lift up into a side bend, and then I open up to the sky and twist. I'm gonna fall, a side bend, fall, twist, other side. I'll show you from this angle, into the other side, bending forward, coming to the side, lifting up, side bend, opening up to the sky, and twist. I'm actively twisting here. And then fall, side bend, forward bend, twist. You can add also a back bend here. You go here. I'll show you from this angle. Side bend, open up, twist, arm back, back bend, twist, side bend, forward, side, twist, back, side, forward, twist. How am I? Oh, wait. I keep doing the same side. And then here, open, back bend. And also getting specific back bends. Like in this exercise, it's a good back bend, but maybe it's hard to get into to feel the back bend. I would recommend starting off with just standing with your feet slightly spread out and slightly bending your knees. You look up, opening your shoulders back and chest open, and breathing like this with your neck falling back. And if this is all I can do, even I do as much as I can. With these things, when we're working with pain, we do as much as we can pain-free, and slowly with time we build up. And eventually you can put your hands back here or down like this, however is comfortable. For me it's like this. Feet spread out, engage my glutes, and starting slowly, and eventually I can come all the way down to here. And I can breathe here and talk because my back is healthy. Because healthy backs should be able to do this. So bend forward, back, side, and twist. And that's getting all the back motions. It's a whole awesome flow where we get in all the back movements because we're doing forward, side, twist, and back. And we're teaching the body to lift itself up. In a side bend, we're like also lifting like this, which is healthy for the spine to lift, not super heavy weight, but we're lifting it like this, but we're doing it even from the side. We're coming up, and we're doing the other side. We're coming up. This is a healthy back. A healthy back is a back that can lift in any angle that it will have to lift in life, because it's not just gonna do deadlifts. Always breathing through the stomach. We have to learn to breathe. There's also another really good exercise which I like doing for upper back and neck also. I'll just show it just as a prize for everyone who's watching all the way until here. If you're still with me, man, that's freaking amazing, because wow, I've been here for a while. Thank you. And thank yourself also for learning all of this stuff if you haven't learned this ever. This one's nice. You do this. Other side. I just showed what the idea is, that we're working against gravity also in this bend. And we're opening up our body to the sky. And we're doing the opposite of sitting, we're doing the opposite. So to fix your body, you want to know what you do all the time and why it's working a certain way, and then do the opposite. So that's why sitting, you do the opposite. And also the hip flexor. For that one, I would recommend also like warming up your neck, doing some gentle neck movements before, neck rotations, and then you do the whole roll thing, which is a really nice exercise. Try it out, it's very nice. That's a whole repertoire of like stuff that I love doing that help me have a healthy spine. The first exercises are the stuff that I used to do because I used to have to fix my body. And then also side plank. Plank itself is very good, and also side plank for like this. And then you do rotationals. Rotations is very good core exercise for training your rotational strength and your obliques, the sides of your abs. You like, if we want to talk about spine weakness, it's just think of like creating a muscle thing next to the spine. Like this is the spine. You want to just create muscles that are keeping it stable but also flexible. Flexible and stable and strong muscles next to the spine. So you want to work in all the angles. All the angles should be strong, flexible, and stable. So we talked about breath. We talked about the hip flexors because of sitting. We talked about posture, the glutes, hips, stable hips. We talked about feet, ankles, a little about the knees and coming up to the quads. Those for another video, but I talked about mainly the main things that I found helped me fix my back. And also the last thing is the mental, which maybe is even the most important. It's not letting the pain take over my life. Every time I feel pain in my knee or my back, it's like, instead of letting it take over and say, oh, I'm feeling pain again, oh, I'm feeling pain again, it's like, okay, I feel pain. It's my body telling me something. What do I have to do? Okay, I feel the pain. It's not the end of the world. They say that, they say that the Buddha said that lots of times we get shot with an arrow in our leg and then we shoot ourselves another 1,000,000 times in our leg. Thank you, Adam, for sharing this quote with me. Now, what does that mean? It means that I feel pain, and then I feel pain about the fact that I'm feeling pain. So it's detaching from the pain and watching it and saying, okay, I'm in this body and I'm aware that I feel this pain, and it sucks that I feel this pain, but right now I feel it and there's nothing I can do about it except for listen to it and see what I can do better so that I come out of this pain. And watching the pain as an observer rather than identifying with the pain and being someone who like I'm someone who has knee pain, that's who I am. Like, no. You have knee pain right now. At this moment, you have knee pain. But sometimes during the day, you don't have knee pain or back pain. Sometimes you don't. Sometimes it feels good. And even if you do all the time, you didn't have your whole life, and you won't have your whole life. So I can promise you that you aren't someone who is identified, someone whose identity is back pain. So releasing yourself from the identity of physical pain and also mental pain, all of these pains that we feel always, observing them. And this is why I also highly recommend meditation and breathwork and yoga and all this stuff, just so we can learn to observe ourselves and our bodies and our mind, and come out of this unnecessary suffering and feel the pain once, and that's it. Okay, I feel the pain, it's there. Now I'm gonna do my best to make sure I can fix my body so I won't feel the pain. thank you very much for listening until now. I hope you have a wonderful day. If you have any questions, please ask. If anything helped you, I'd love to know. If something interested you, I'd love to know. Yeah, awesome. If you have any friends who have back pain or anything, send this to them. Subscribe to my channel, give this a like, comment. It helps me to see like support. So that'll be cool. Also follow me on Instagram, and I post more videos there. Go check out my other stuff here if you want. I have a video with my grandmother. Send that to your grandparents. A good video for coming back into movement. It's sun salutation for the elderly. Thank you so much. I send you a very big hug, and give yourself a hug also if you want. And all right, have a wonderful and blessed day. Thank you.